has all the tools.
Yeah, well, mainly because I don't have the reason why they know I have all the tools is because I don't have a space inside the house to work. So I work in the front yard. So if I'm working on something, I'm in the front yard. I got my homemade table saw set up. I got, the drill press. I got, my scroll saw, whatever I'm working on outside, which also makes it a hell of a lot more comfortable because you don't sweat as much either. And they know I have the tools, so they come knocking on my fucking door, and I'm like, okay.
No, that's why I try to generally keep my interactions with my neighbors short and sweet. I mean, unless I got a really cool neighbor that I like.
Well, just because everybody in the neighborhood is actually really cool. I've never had any problems with anybody, which is why I don't mind. And the lady that borrowed it, her husband, he actually does construction, and every once in a while he'll come home and like, hey, do you need extra caulking? I'm like, no. He's like, well, here, take these, and he'll hand me 3 tubes of caulking. He's like, I got extra. I don't need it. I'm like, all right.
What you're saying is that your neighbor will come over and give you a good old fashioned caulking.
Give me a big caulking.
The best caulking.
Well, one day he came home one day and he's like, hey, do you need extra screwdrivers? I'm like, I can never have too many screwdrivers. He's like, here, and he gave me like 3 screwdrivers. He gave me well, what I don't have, he has. So like he'll have like the one day I was cleaning out the backyard and the dogs had ripped open the trash bag, and I went over to his house and he's got like 5 wheelbarrows. I was like, dude, can I borrow a wheelbarrow? And he's like, yeah, sure, take it out of the truck. So I'll grab that from him, or if I need oddly enough, I have the world's longest extension cord, but sometimes it's not long enough. So he'll let me borrow an extension cord. He's got one just like mine. In that bench I built, I actually put a place to wind up my extension cord, so it's always plugged in, but hidden away.
Nice. There you go. Well, enough of that, Jeff's
ranting.
Jeff's reminiscing about his neighbors and how great they are and all that jazz. Because it is Wednesday. It's Nonsensical Nonsense. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a good week so far. I am the greatest host of all time, the hostess with the mostest, the one and only Glick. And then there's Jeff over there.
I'm here too.
No. But thank you guys for tuning in. Jeff, you're the best co-host on the planet. I couldn't ask for a better co-host. So. Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony D. Hey, Chris.
Tony D. What's up, dude?
Go ahead and give a nice little shout out to the Kevin Holly Show. I got a care package in the mail today. I'm drinking out of my new beer mug, courtesy of Kevin.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, Kevin, where the fuck's mine, dude? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I rag on you just as much as Chris. What the fuck?
Kevin and I have also been friends for like 6 years.
Yes, but I'm the new guy. I should have got the package first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's all the reason for you not to get the package first. And if you're not careful and if you keep asking for Kevin's package, he's liable to come down there and give it to you.
That's what I'm afraid of.
It's not very big. It's bent to the left and it's got a chip at the tip, but it's okay.
It smells like Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Now, I have to mention to the listeners, I went live the other day, just kind of shoot the shit. And Tony D jumped on, and I brought him into my live because he was like, dude, we got to talk. And I was like, oh, shit, what did I do? And he says, so I brought him in real quick. I'm like, what's up, dude? What'd I do? And he's like, is Chris okay? Because you guys were playing Uno, and apparently you got fucked up.
Yeah,
and they were concerned, and nobody could get a hold of you because it's Sunday, and very few people know on Sundays, Chris is off the internet.
Sundays are my unplugged day. Everybody, see, I used to be so wrapped up with, when I was doing like live streaming before on like Periscope or wherever I was doing live streaming, I'd be so wrapped up with it that I mean I was literally doing something with it 7 days a week,
Right.
and I was getting burnt out. And you can't live like that, man. You gotta. So when I came back home, there was a few things that I changed. One, I wasn't going to continue to work myself into an early grave like I was doing down in South Carolina. And two, I decided that Sundays are going to be my day. Now, back then, when I first came back home, I was still, because, I'm not going to go into too much crazy detail about it, but, I've been an alcoholic for a good chunk of my life.
Yeah.
And I don't go to meetings or anything like that. I've gotten control of it, and I've uh, I've handled it myself.
Right.
So, but back then I was still drinking pretty heavy on Saturday nights. I was only drinking on Saturdays. So I uh, I decided when I came back home, Sundays are my day. Sunday is going to be
Right.
my day that I unplug. I walk away from all social media. I just kind of hang out. If I got the kids and I hang out and chill. If I don't have the kids, I just kind of sloth around. I mean,
Yeah.
on Sundays, you and Summer are the only people that I really interact with on Sundays.
Exactly.
Outside
Well,
outside
that
of that,
was that was Tony D's concern. Is he sent me a message. He says, "Is Chris okay?" I'm like, I don't see why not. He's like, well, he was drinking really heavily. We were concerned. And I said, no, you know what? I sent him a message. It's Sunday. It's his detox day. He goes completely off the internet. And I basically explained what you just did. And I said,
yeah,
but in his defense, he did answer when I sent him a message. Um, I usually try not to bother him on Sunday because it is his day. So I said, but he did
yeah.
answer me when I sent him a message.
So,
He's
and
like,
every
okay, I
once in
just
a
wanted to
while,
check.
yeah, I got pretty tore up Saturday night, and every what's up, Joe? Every once in a while, not so much. I still have my Saturday nights where I come a little bit unwound, and that just unfortunately for them happened to be one of those nights. So
Yeah.
forgive me.
Well,
Hi, I'm Glick, and I'm an alcoholic, and sometimes
I overindulge.
yeah. But I will say thanks to that Saturday night, I have played Uno every night this week with my son. So
Nice.
that's all he wants to do is play Uno, and then he gets mad at me because I whooped the dog shit out of that kid. I show no mercy.
Well, see, that was going to be my question. When you play games with your kids, do you let them win? I never let my
No,
kids win.
no,
I
no,
never
I
let them
don't.
win because that's not. I don't believe in participation trophies or letting anybody win. Because if you want to
No,
win, you better fucking earn it.
now, baby nonsensical. I think that's what they were calling him Saturday night because he was not drinking with me. He was just
He's just playing.
hanging out. Yeah, he was watching and
He's doing
playing, and
shots of soda. I
but
can drink like daddy.
yeah, no, he's beat me a few times. I don't let him win. Now, when he wins, he wins. But
Right.
yeah, I've never been that dad where I'm gonna let my kids win just because they're little. Man, I used to smoke my daughters and all their like little board games and stuff that they would play. Like, you cheat, and I'm like, no, you suck.
Now, see, my wife, I won't play any games with my wife because she just beat the dog shit out of everybody. She's relentless. We got
Oh,
there's a Monopoly a version of Monopoly
mhm,
down here called Turismo. It's about tourism, but it's
mhm.
you basically go around the world and you can buy US, you can buy the Mexico, you can buy Canada,
I think
and she
I
just
think
tears it the fuck
Monopoly.
up.
I think Monopoly has a game like that. Monopoly has so many different variations and varieties.
Yeah,
Agreed, Jason. We should definitely hang out sometime. Oh, excuse me. That's
but
my poor
uh,
cousin in the chat.
but when the lockdowns first came, we were like, look, we're gonna be locked down for God knows how long
Yeah.
because and so we got all our groceries that we were gonna need for the next couple like for the next month or two, and then we are like, you know what, let's get some stuff to do because we're gonna get bored.
hmm
and we bought some puzzles, and we bought, like, the fucking, like a puzzle, and
What, did you guys
we
did you
bought.
guys get locked down and go back in time and travel back to 1953?
Well,
Where
the thing
like
is, we got to remember when the lockdown happened, we had only been in the house maybe a month, and we didn't have internet.
oh
We had our DVDs, and that was in the PlayStation. That was it.
yeah,
And
you know what?
and we had and like we
If I only
didn't get
had my
internet until after the lockdown.
if I only had my DVDs, I've got a box of DVDs. I would be a happy son bitch because all the movies I have absolutely no problem watching over and over and over again. I've seen
Oh
them
no,
all
don't
a
get me
million
wrong. We
times,
watched everything.
but
We have well over 400 DVDs.
I
The
don't have
problem
nearly
is
that many.
this.
But
Well, when you look at a movie cover, what goes through my head when I look at a movie cover, I'm like, okay, that's a funny scene. That's a funny scene. I don't want to sit through that scene.
you judge a
I
book by
literally
its
the
cover.
movie. No, because I've seen the movie, of course.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's
okay. You're
DVD.
talking about the movie you've seen.
But when I pick up the movie, I'm like,
Mhm.
do I really want to sit through that scene, even though this scene is funny? The movie plays quickly through my head as I look at it,
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
like,
I'll
ugh.
do that. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'll do that.
And so,
Jason, I'm with you. Monopoly is not allowed in my house either. Everybody hates to play
oh
Monopoly
God,
with me.
no.
I am the king of Monopoly, and people get so pissed off when they play with me.
Oh, I hate to play that game. I hate Monopoly. Um, Funny thing is, well, what makes it worse is for some reason I always have to be the bank,
And
and I
you
can't
can't do
count to
math.
10.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck. Let me get my
I can't
calculator. How much money do
I
I owe
can't
you?
math.
Fuck.
I can't math very well today, Ma.
Yeah,
Well,
Jesus.
my problem is that I will intentionally buy like every property I land on. So I'll have one of all the
Yeah,
properties, and then there's two little shitty properties right past go. The what is it, Baltic and whatever, the two little
yeah.
purple ones, the brown ones. I'll own both of those, and then I'll slap fucking hotels on them for days,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. You're
nobody
like
else
my
can
wife.
do anything.
My wife will
Yeah,
land on anything, be like, I'll buy it. I'm like, what? You're
yeah.
seriously?
Well, I only buy it one. I only buy the one. So like Marvin's Gardens or like the yellow ones or whatever. I'll only buy one of the
Right.
yellow ones because then nobody can get. And then when they want the full set, then it's like, well, this is what it's going to cost you if you want this last one right here.
Yeah.
So you have the whole set, and then they get pissed
Yep.
off at me. Yep, I'm always the cheater, but it's because I buy everything. I don't buy it. I look. I monopolize. That's the idea
Yeah.
of the game
I mean, that's
is
the
to win.
concept of the game.
Well, so I have the two. I own the ghetto. I own the projects of
Yeah.
Monopoly. But I came into the ghetto and I came into the projects and I was like, I got all this money. Let's help the
Let's build
project.
you boys up.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
make you
build you
better than
guys up.
fucking We'll make you better than fucking
Yeah.
Park Avenue.
And then I just go buy properties in rich neighborhoods just to be a dick, and then I won't sell unless they give me what I want. And
Yeah.
usually people just get pissed off because we're 3 hours into a Monopoly game and they're like, "Oh God, you I fucking hate." I'm like, it could be over if you just give me what I
Well,
want.
I'm actually in the process. I'm trying to figure out how to make, because I do like to make stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how to make a Connect 4 game. I mean, yes, I could go buy one for like $10, but I'd rather spend $50 building it because I'm
See,
stupid like that.
that's the thing that kills me. You will spend money on the dumbest shit.
Well, no, but I literally don't spend $50 on it. I literally, like when I made that tic-tac-toe game, I built it out of scrap wood that I had lying around.
Yeah.
So
But-
it's the same thing with the Connect 4. I got enough scrap wood, I could make it. I just have to figure out how to make it.
But if you didn't have it or you didn't have the tool to make, you would go buy the stuff. So the game, I don't even think Connect 4 is $10 at this point. I think you can buy the son bitch at the dollar. I think you can buy the damn game at the Dollar Tree for one fucking dollar. But you'll spend $50 making one just to say you made it. But you won't go spend any money on this podcast to better your
I just, fuck Parker Brothers. I'm not gonna go pay to lose.
Speaking of this podcast, and you just doing whatever the hell you want to do, I'm going to go ahead and call you out live. What is our number one rule? What is our number one rule that we both agreed on before we ever started doing this podcast?
Yes, I know. The rule is no politics or religion. However, in my defense, you did say go with the trends on TikTok. So I took a trend, and it's gotten us well enough to close to 1,000 followers.
Which was fine to go with the trend and comment on another video and go that way. But you completely and entirely, you chloroformed, raped, set on fire, put the fire out, revived, raped it again, set it on fire, and ran it over with a truck 10 times, the number one rule, by posting that fucking video. That don't help the podcast in any way, shape, or form. That just throws numbers. And for those of you who don't
said you wanted to go live on TikTok. Well, now we almost can.
And for those of you who don't know what he did, because yes, and I didn't even mention that at the beginning, our social media across the board is at Nonsensical Nonsense on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube.
Even as I was doing it, I was like, Chris is going to tear my ass for this, but like, it's got to be done. So, I'm recording and I was dying laughing.
Yeah. And on all social media, Nonsensical Nonsense, give us a follow. We do have a merch store that I still have to set up stuff for, but the merch store is there on Teespring. Just go to Teespring and search Nonsensical Nonsense. And if you want to send an email, at nonsensicalnonsensepodcast@gmail.com. Yeah. So, anyway, so for those of you who don't know, yes, we are on TikTok. And we don't do much on TikTok. We're slowly trying to get around to doing stuff. So what does Jeff do? Jeff goes and posts a political video, a follow for follow, a follow train.
It's a follow train.
Yes, completely alienating an entire another side. And I'm pretty sure you can look.
The side that we're alienating, we don't care about anyways because they're a bunch of lefties.
Yeah, but we don't care about political views. I don't care about your political views or your religious beliefs when we're trying to build a platform and we're trying to build a fan base for our podcast.
Okay.
Not TikTok.
I get it. Okay, let me ask you a question. Chris. Who's staring at you right now on the other side of your computer? Oh, no, don't be a dick. Don't fucking lie. You know who it is.
Superman's right there.
It's the goat.
There's a Viking. There's a Viking warrior. I have a bear guardian. I have
You're avoiding.
The stars and stripes are staring at me. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Yeah.
I saw the goat.
This other guy wearing a suit that has a Kevin Hawley show tie on. I saw
the goat. I saw the goat.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was on TikTok. But it was for the and like I told Summer, I was like, I'm gonna. I swear to God, I'm about this close to going to Cancun and kicking his ass for that, for the merch stuff, for just all these. I'm like, I'm gonna go kick his ass. She's like, you sound like a 12-year-old girl that just got into a fight with her best friend. I was like, we didn't get into a fight. He's just doing little things that he knows better.
Did it work, though? Did it work? How many followers did we gain? We went from 117 to over 400.
Well, no, we're almost at 1,000 now. But if you only wanted followers, fantastic. But that does not help the podcast at all. Because, and here's the thing that kills me: whether you're left or you're right on TikTok, there's nobody on TikTok that supports the left or supports the right that has any kind of common sense or brain cells in their heads.
True.
They're all fucking raging lunatics.
Yeah, the problem with dealing with, I agree. The problem with doing that follow train is everything I see now is all the same shit, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. And that is the other thing that I told Summer I was going to kick your ass about. I was like, I can't even go on TikTok without 900 fucking radical Trump fans.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. In a couple of weeks, it'll go back to normal. Because I had the same problem on mine when I did the same thing.
No,
when I
I'm
started
going to
doing
make it.
follow, I
I'm
started to
going to
follow
make
train
it
on
go back.
mine.
Yeah, I'm going to make it go back to normal in a matter of days. Hence the reason I went into the vault and pulled out some of the best of, and
Yeah, I
and
saw
I've
that.
only started. I've only gone with tame videos so far. So I'm going to steer us back into the right direction.
I did a cool couple
After,
videos there.
yeah, you probably just did that to try to distract me from the bullshit that you did. Look over here, Glick. Shiny object all over
No,
here.
exactly. Well, that was what's funny is you put up that one video. You're like, "Oh, I love this song. I'm gonna do the scream," and I was like, "Oh, I got an idea." And I was trying to find a. I went scrolling through the feed, and I was like, "I can't find anybody singing. All I see is fucking Trump shit." And I'm like, "Damn it! I fucked myself." So I had to start searching through the search bar, which I never do.
So yeah. So I dug into the vault. I went deep into the vault on my personal TikTok page and pulled out some of my favorites, the best of Glick, if you will, and because with the kids here, I generally don't post videos and I don't do
That's
much
because
for
you
the
don't want to be
podcast.
embarrassed.
What the hell are you talking about? Embarrassed of what? My kids, I'm there.
I saw you dancing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd
Does
be
it embarrass
embarrassed.
me? Well, why don't you? Right, you know what? You're
You
such a
know what's
great
funny?
dancer, man.
In the video, I was singing, and I put the tripod on top of my car, and I'm singing, and I can look over and I
Welcome,
can see my
fiance.
neighbors looking at me, going, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
Yeah, Summer says I don't ever get embarrassed. Hello, fiance.
I don't. I only
Whoa,
get
whoa.
embarrassed
And Summer donates
always.
to the donates toilet paper to the podcast. She sent us a toilet paper award. Says we're on a roll.
Nice.
But no, I didn't know. I don't do videos with the kids around because they're just they'd ask 9 million questions. Yeah, it's not in our blood. Yeah, you ain't wrong there, Jason. Jason, my cousin, he said it's not in our blood to get embarrassed. I typically don't. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I've made some pretty embarrassing TikTok videos.
That
So
one
I'm
you
like,
sent me, I'm waiting for that one to
I,
pop up because that should get a couple million views.
yeah, well, it didn't, but I mean, I've made more embarrassing TikTok videos for that, and thank God for whatever reason TikTok decided that they went against community guidelines and took them down.
They're like, no, this is we're gonna get this kid's ass kicked somehow. Somebody's gonna kill him.
No, I did one. I did one where I was lip syncing and dancing along to Barbie girl.
I thought about doing that, but I was like, Chris will make fun of me endlessly if I do this.
It's one of my
Because
favorite songs. I'll make fun of you regardless. But
I was looking
what's going on,
at,
Allie?
like I did that. I was doing the '90s song challenge thing or whatever, and I was trying to find a good one. And they like 4 of them started out with Barbie Girl. I was like, no, 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 no. I'll never hear the end of it.
Oh, I'm glad
That's
you.
hilarious.
I'm glad you went to the Kevin Holly show before you came in here. My own fiance, ladies and gentlemen,
Damn.
went to the Kevin Holly show and commented on his show before she came in here to give us toilet paper. It's
So
you're
I
on
can
a
wipe the
roll.
smell of the Kevin Holly show off.
We don't need more than toilet paper to get rid of that smell.
Yeah.
I feel
Some
so
bleach.
dirty. But yeah, so a little behind the scenes for everybody. Yeah, Jeff's a jackass, and he's slowly.
What is it you said day one? You know, if we get TikTok big enough, we can go live on TikTok every once in a while too. I was like, well, and we weren't growing.
So,
we were stuck at like
yeah,
117 for like a
but
month.
we also weren't doing anything on there. Yeah,
That's true.
and it was.
So you want to see it grow? Watch this.
For the podcast. If we were a political based, I mean, if we were the Kevin Holly show where we went on there and spouted off crazy nonsense, then that would be a different story.
Oh my God, that dude's feed on Facebook is like seriously political.
He is angry.
Well, can you blame him?
He's angry over silly stuff. Like he gets mad for getting. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, and it's not just him. There's a lot of people that do it. You just say people in general get mad when they get put in Facebook jail. Well,
They wonder why.
you spend 99% of your time posting stupid ass shit that you know damn well isn't true, and you poke the bear. That'd be like if somebody sat beside me the entire day for a week and just mouthed off
every 5 minutes
and just poke the fuck out of it. I'm gonna do everything I can today to anger you. Probably by the second day, I'm gonna break their jaw.
You're gonna get your ass. Yeah, you're gonna get your ass handed to you.
And that's essentially what Facebook is doing to people. And it's like, don't get mad at Facebook because you're the one intentionally poking the bear.
I think Facebook's gonna be slowing down on that because of that lawsuit.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Speaking of,
I'm curious what was happening.
Speaking of Facebook, I got a story for you that I heard today.
Okay.
Facebook and their guidelines and their harassment bullshit and this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
They targeted a Facebook group and started shadow banning and muting comments and putting people in Facebook jail for a I've gotten put in Facebook jail for the dumbest. Well, I've never been in Facebook jail. They just keep giving me warnings. But
I've never even been warned.
There's a group on Facebook that they've been putting people in Facebook jail and this, that, and other thing for a use of a particular word. Now, the Facebook group mentioned is a lawn and gardening and landscaping Facebook page. Okay. So not only for
how
businesses,
bad could it be?
Not only for businesses, but private owners, people who live in communities and want to show off their gardens and their flower beds.
No, but I mean,
blah, blah, blah.
On top of that, like I have the odd pride of I want the greenest grass in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, the word on that Facebook page that is getting people in trouble is the word hoe, like a garden hoe.
That's hilarious. Like Facebook, learn context, motherfuckers. Jesus.
Yes. What's going on, Jay? Thanks for the algo word.
That totally reminds me of a story I have to tell you when you're done. But go ahead.
So yeah, people are talking about gardening and this, that, and the other thing, and there's companies that's in there, and the radio show that I listen to midday, Roger and JP was like, what if my business is a hoe business and all I do is sell garden hose? So now Facebook is hurting my business and I can't sell my hoe. I came home tonight when I got home, today when I got home, and while I was watching Loki, I was looking up stories and stuff like that because we haven't done very many stories lately, and I'd like to get back into it. And that
I actually got a couple of them for you tonight.
And that popped up, and I seen it, and I was just like, "This is really a fucking thing with Facebook right now. It is a goddamn lawn and garden and landscaping Facebook page, and it's not like it's not like you're like."
It's not like they're using it derogative.
Yeah, it was like, like one
it's
guy.
Not like they're saying, "I got my bitches and hoes, and I'm gonna go garden."
Yeah, one guy literally got put in Facebook jail because he had, and I don't know, it makes no sense to me. We're probably going to get put in Facebook jail now, finally, after 27 episodes, because of this conversation. But one guy that got in trouble on Facebook was like, I literally put a post in and asked, what was the best hoe to use in this particular type of soil where he lived? And me, I'm like, I mean, a hoe's a hoe. I don't think it makes a difference.
I was going to say, is there a difference between the different hoes?
But I mean, I'm no lawn and garden fucking landscaping expert.
I'm not either.
So, but and he got put in Facebook jail for like 7 days for asking that question in a Facebook page on a group page. So I'm assuming the page isn't private. What the hell?
What happened?
Santa's screwed. Yeah, Santa is absolutely screwed. But
Well, when I was in high school, I used to work for my uncle. He owns a plumbing and heating company that my grandfather started, and during the summertime, my cousins and I would have to dig gas lines, and where you dig a 4 foot by 4 foot hole at the street, and then a 4 foot hole by the house, and then a trench. And my girlfriend at the time, who you met at graduation, her dad, her birth dad, worked with us, and I remember my cousin and I walking down to the shop from the office, and skipping and jumping and screaming, "Pimp Daddy Pete's got my hoe," because her dad's, of course, name was Pete, and he had all the tools in his truck. And we're like, "Pimp Daddy Pete's got my hoe." And we thought it was the funniest thing ever. And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, you got our tools in your truck?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, Pimp Daddy Pete's got my hose."
Yeah. Well, it's 2021, and if I fart there, if I fart in the wrong direction, it's bound and determined to offend somebody. So,
speaking of offending someone, my wife came home last night with her friend.
I'm sure your wife comes home every day and is offended because she walks in and sees you.
Well, they came home and they were both at the same hotel, and as I've stated before, they do sell tours.
Yeah.
And they were getting ready to leave that day, and this lady came up, and she's of the Asian descent, and she said,
she's Asian.
Yeah, she's Asian. Yeah, and she said she's got a group and they want to go to one of the parks. Well, I'm trying to not scare the snowflakes, but she said, "I have a group and we want to go to one of the parks." And he says, and my wife says, "Okay, how many adults?" And she's like, "There's 16 adults." Okay, how many kids? She says, "We have one infant, which is always free because they're infants." Ooh, my door just slammed. And we have 6 kids. And kids cut off at 11. After 11, they're considered an adult. And she says, well, my wife says, well, which is it, 5 or 6? And she says, 6? She says, what? You can go outside, give it a rest. So this lady says, 6. And she's like, well, he's almost 12. He's still 11, but he's going to be 12 soon. And my wife says, well, how tall is he? She's like, oh, he's not that tall. My wife's like, can I see him? And this dude comes around looking like Yao fucking Ming with a full fucking goatee. And she's like, he's 11. She's like, sure he is.
Yeah, he was 11 20 years ago. Yeah.
She got all offended and pissed off. They were sitting telling me about it, and of course, we're doing the accident.
Just making it.
And we're doing, we were like, I can't do the way we were talking about it last night because it would be so offensive. Like even the rightest of right would go, whoa.
well, now I want to hear your Mexican wife do a Chinese accent.
She was just saying it, but I was, of course, making them laugh harder because I was sitting there going, "Oh, Willie, he's 6." She said he walked around. The dude was like 6 foot. I said, "So Yao fucking Ming."
Well, I mean,
and then I had to explain who Yao Ming was.
I did look at Snapchat. I seen it. I snapped you back. I mean, I was like 12, maybe 13, and I was as tall as I am right now. So
exactly.
I mean, my 12-year-old daughter right now is like 5'6".
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking Asians. Not necessarily the tallest people on the planet. She said this kid walked around. He's got like 6 gold chains on. He's got the full fucking goatee. She's like 11. All
Yeah,
right.
I love it.
And she's like, I'm sorry, I have to charge him as a dog. She eventually told him. She said, look, here's the deal. Because the normal price, the price at the gate is $185 per person for adult, right?
Yeah.
And my wife said, look, I'll give everybody $150 and I'll do his half price. But if you get there and they say he has to pay the difference, he has to pay the difference between, the 75 and 185. And the lady was like, okay, charge him as an adult.
Yeah. Well,
like, yeah, you ain't gonna get away with it.
Jason said, he was like growing up with his mom. Jason's my cousin, so
right.
I know I know his mom very well, obviously, but his mom telling him before we went into somewhere how old I was when and if they asked. And it's funny that you brought that up, and he said that because when we went down to Pigeon Forge, we were doing that with Buggy. We were like,
oh,
okay,
dude, I remember being like since I was a short fuck and still am, but I remember at like 13, my parents going, "You're 12, you're 11," and I'm like, okay.
Well, and I mean, Buggy's like right at that cutoff age. Now we can't do that with Austin because she's 16 and looks like she's fucking 23. But
right.
but we were doing that down in Pigeon Forge. Not only did we do that in Pigeon Forge, but I should have brought this up a couple weeks ago. But it's a good thing that this kind of organically came up. So we have many reasons why we're going to hell. Well, when we went to Dollywood, we added another one to that list because when you walk into Dollywood, there's an area where you can go and the kids get measured to make see, and they get a wristband, and that wristband basically
see
says,
if they can ride certain rides.
Yeah, exactly. Well, right beside that place where you get your height checked, there's another place where you can go in there and you can get well, it's kind of like a handicap thing.
Okay, yeah,
basically, you go to any ride, you go to the exit, and you hand them that, and you don't have to wait in line for the
skip
rides.
The line, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
you're sitting there going, Summer's sitting there going, Chris, you're stupid. You should get the handicap.
No. Well, because
that's what my wife always says.
No, well, we were like, well, we're going to say that Buggy's autistic, and we're going to say that Parker is this or that, but because of HIPAA laws or whatever, they can't ask you legally what
to prove it, right?
You just go in there and tell them you need this pass. So
they have to give it to you.
Since Summer was going to be with the girls most of the day because they were riding the roller coasters, and I don't ride roller coasters, and the boys didn't want to. I was with the boys the whole day. So Summer went in there and got one for Austin, I think, and then I went in there and got one for Cash. But they asked, they asked how many people are in your party, and I was like, well, there's 6 of us. And they're like, okay, and they wrote Cash's information or whatever, like his name and this, that, and the other thing, and that person has to be present when they go on the ride. So I was like, Cash, 6 people. And it was like Austin, 6 people. So we literally did not have to wait in any line the entire day.
It's called a loophole.
I like it. Now I want to go to Disney World and be like, I got my
Disney
T-Rex
World has got some serious secrets, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen those lists of it's like 30 things that Disney World doesn't want you to know? Have you seen those videos and stuff?
I like to go to the darker side.
I do too.
So there's a video on YouTube, and it's called "Nobody Dies at Disney."
Yeah,
Disney has a rule that nobody dies in their park. So, say for instance, and this has happened, somebody dies on a roller coaster or something like that.
Okay.
They have like their own Disney fucking fire department or whatever. I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah. Oh no, they got a Disney jail too.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if it's anything like the
Which I'm
Walmart
like,
joke.
really?
But so they are, according to this video, and I don't know how true it is. I can only go off of what the video said. So
Right.
Walt Disney, you and your animatronic cryogenesis
Brain.
head that's still alive, don't come
Yeah,
after me.
I totally believe
But
that because he
if
had more money than brains.
yeah, they if somebody dies in the park, they wait until they're off the property to pronounce them
To
dead.
pronounce it dead.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's just like no, that's one of the rules. Nobody dies
Well,
at Disney.
um,
Well, minus the kid
one of
that
the
was eaten by an alligator a couple years back,
well,
which you couldn't deny
they're like, yeah, we kind of got to call it there, Walt. He's like, get that alligator out of here, shoot it, and take it out of here.
Yeah.
I read a story the other day where it was one of those lists, and I was sitting there reading through them, and it's the they don't call them they call them cast members for the people dressed up as like Snow White and
Oh man, they got
Flynn Rider and all that stuff.
crazy rules.
And the funny thing is like two of the cast members were fired when one of the princes was making out with Flynn Rider. And I was like,
man.
yeah, you guys got bust. And apparently, like when you are one of those characters that dresses up as like the princesses, they get constantly hit on, like constant.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and if you do it too many times, you will hear them say to like another cast member that we have they don't call it a problematic guest, they call it a special guest.
Yeah.
Something like that, but it's like it's a really fancy word. I just can't remember what it was.
I'm guilty of hitting on a princess when I went to Disney.
Well, the picture they had of the girl that was dressed as Tinkerbell, I was like, "How you doing, Tinkerbell?"
well, I like my favorite. One of my favorite Disney movies is Aladdin, and I
okay, I got you.
So
yeah.
So that was when we went to Disney, when we took the kids to Disney, that was the only line we waited in, and I wasn't going to, but the girls wanted to meet Jasmine and Aladdin, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna sit here for 2 hours and wait. I'm gonna make it worth my while, and you know they have their little character role and stuff like that, and Aladdin was being a little smartass, and I was like, hey, you better calm down, street rat, because I ain't Jafar. I was like, they'll never find you, and I'll take your woman. Jasmine was like, whoa. she's in character. And then they're like,
apparently they're not allowed to explain who they are either.
Well, they're meant to be in character. So then, like when they were like, all right,
all the time.
Come in and take your picture, and I was like, all right, we can do our picture, but he's got to leave. It's just me and her.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't really necessarily say it was her foot or hitting on her or whatever. It was just kind of they were playing around, so I was playing around.
Well, no, but I mean, apparently some of the dads get in there and they get really handsy.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I've seen it. But in character, they have fun, and they because like we did lunch, I think, one day with Cinderella and Prince Charming, and then the evil stepmother was there, and the wicked stepsisters, and I think Alice in Wonderland. So Mad Hatter and Alice, and then Winnie the Pooh and Tigger was there. But when the stepsisters come around, because I think Cash was like 2 when we went to Disney. The stepsisters came around and they're like, "Oh, you're so cute," and they like kept getting close, and they were trying to take his cookies and whatever, and they were having fun. So I mean, they have the whole character role that they play. They really get into it. Yeah, they really get into it. And like the Mad Hatter came over and he was trying to invite the girls to a tea party, and the girls were like, "We ain't going to no tea party." I was like, "Can I go to a tea party?" He was like, "Yeah, let's go." He was like, "Come on, Dad. Yeah, come on, Dad, let's go."
What? There's actually fucking tea here.
I want 3 or whatever the hell he's on.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, yeah, because the Mad Hatter's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the whole story of the reason why they call him the Mad Hatter, the way they used to make hats back, and they used like a carcinogen to steam the hats, and
What's going
you were
on,
basically
Bart?
locked in a room. You're basically
Yeah,
locked in a room while you're making this hat, and you go fucking
yeah,
retarded.
yeah. Well, you can't say that word.
Sorry, my
You know
bad.
why would you go full retarded? What's wrong with you? Are you retarded? Fucking retard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, crazy bastard. But yeah, you basically lose your mind because of this stuff. So that's where the whole Mad Hatter thing came from. So it's historically accurate, which I find
Well,
amazing. Except
yeah,
for if you read actually the original stories of some of the Disney characters, you're like, wow, you don't see that in a Disney movie.
because Disney is notoriously accurate. Why don't we tell the real story of Pocahontas and John Smith?
Yeah, oh my god. Oh, my wife.
Or-
We were talking about that. We were watching. My wife loves the Pocahontas movie. Of course, she likes it in Spanish. She knows all the songs in Spanish, and I'm like, it's better in English, you know. And she's like, I would just want to hear the song in Spanish. I'm like, fine, whatever. So we end up watching the song 3 times.
yeah, Jesus Christ.
and
Well,
and
that's what you get for
I was like,
when
the
you're
real story behind Pocahontas. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I said, that chick was like 12,
yeah.
and
Well, I mean,
John Smith was like 35,
yeah. I mean,
and she was passed around like a donut.
yeah, you can't blame your wife for enjoying the Disney songs. I mean, she's what 13 now.
Funny fucker, aren't you? but like I read the original story of Rapunzel, and apparently the guy that saves Rapunzel, the evil stepmother with her, pushes him out of the tower, and he lands on a pile of rocks.
Yeah.
And it busts his back all up, and he's basically he's in a coma for months.
Well,
it's like, wow, you don't see that in a Disney film, do you?
Yeah, well, I mean that's like any of those old nursery rhymes. I mean, the Brothers Grimm or whatever the hell it was, those are not happy, fun
They are not the
stories.
Disney film that you remember.
Yeah, much like a lot of these songs. I had a friend of mine for college did a report on nursery rhymes and stuff and like the true meaning behind them, and
Right.
it's pretty fucking twisted. Like Ring Around the Rosie is about a plague and about dying and shit. Like
yeah, it's about the Black
ring
Plague.
around. Yeah, it's just like whoa. Well then,
you're like, damn, I remember singing that in school. It was like a whole different school if we would have done the accurate version. But no, it's my kids are at that age where every night they want a bedtime story. So I scroll the internet right before we go to bed, and I'm finding stories. And
dude, why don't you just tell them like the story the story of the poor kid who was neglected and left to drown at Camp Crystal Lake, or
exactly.
the poor sweet innocent janitor.
I got to the point where I just play clips from the podcast. I'm like, there you go, there's a story.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They wake up with fucking nightmares. Go, what do you mean you want to put mom in the corner? Like, shut up, you'll get it when you're older.
Oh, dude, that episode. So I they're fed up. Who's fed up, Jason? I post in all the podcast groups and this, that, and the other thing. I share our links and everything like that. And every once in a while somebody will comment and be like, "Oh, I followed you." Today somebody commented under one of my comments, and I got the notification on Anchor that he had favorited our podcast. So I was like, "Oh, cool, let's go see who this guy is." And I favorited his podcast back, and I go to his podcast page, and it was like, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was like, "Through Jesus, all things are possible, and the Lord Jesus Christ is our Savior." Weekly Christian podcast, and I was like, "Oh,
you're in for a big surprise."
He was listening to the two-parter episode. You probably shouldn't listen to that, but go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4 and then stop.
Yeah. We were nice and clean. Yeah. We were nice and clean and virgin because we didn't know any better.
Jeff and I play Uno. Mark wants to know if we can play Uno. I'm about Uno'd out, man. I've been playing Uno every night this week with my son.
My wife, we were watching you guys play for a little bit, and she says,
Because
"Why don't you jump on there and play?" I said, "Well, because I don't have a fucking set of Uno cards. Because even though we've bought 15 packs of cards, the kids destroy them. You know, you lose 15
why don't
cards
you
a day."
go? Why don't you go make a deck of Uno cards?
I gotta get new scissors. I'm gonna make them out of wood.
Yeah.
Whack. Can you imagine a stack like that? Because how many Uno cards are in a stack? It's like 115, 120, something like that.
Okay. Well, let's just Googlate that shit.
Yeah.
How many
I'd have to
Uno
make it
cards
out
are in
of.
a deck of Uno?
It's over
108.
100. I know that. 108. Yeah. So
There's 76. There's
even
76 numbered cards and 24
I would have to make them out of
action cards.
16th inch ply. And 16-inch ply, it would still be like 12 inches tall. A stack of Uno cards.
Well,
Shuffling would be a bitch.
Yeah, I could do it. This comment
shuffle
has been
these.
hidden. Jay got his comment hidden once again. Homos. Oh, that's why you got. Why you hating? Why you just hating the fuck out of the podcast tonight? You Snapchatting me and everything else. Yeah, 108. 108 was close. Jason asked how we play an Uno apart. Well, the Haps app that we use, how we go live together, you can invite people in. So there's a lady, there's a young lady on here that once a week or a couple times a week she does an Uno party, and you just invite people in and you play Uno, and you give yourself your 7 cards and you hold them up in front of the camera so you can see them, and then you just show your card. So, and then if you don't have a card, you got your deck beside you where you can draw from. So, and I was whooping everybody's ass. I was drunk as shit.
Yeah, Chris was stacking the deck.
I was not stacking the deck. I was too drunk to stack a deck.
But literally, I was.
They were funny snaps. You're having fun with the filters. Jay is sending me Snapchats with filters over our faces.
Nice.
So, but yeah, it was fun.
I had one of my Wednesday night after we got done, or Saturday night after we got done. I had one of my moments. I suffer from depression, and my depression kicked in real bad. I even apologized to you because of it, because I jumped off so early, and my depression hit in bad. And my wife's like, "Why don't you go fucking play Uno?" And I was like, "I don't have any cards."
Go.
I said,
"Go. Go out to your Quickie Mart and buy you a deck of cards, man. We'll do our own Uno, our
but
own."
No, I have this weird thing. It's 90% of the time I'm happy-go-lucky, not a care in the fucking world. But every once in a while, it's like a kick in the gut.
No, dude,
when my depression kicks in.
Trust me, as a guy who deals with it on a daily basis, and anxiety and everything like that. No, trust me, I totally get it.
But I had an episode on Saturday after we got done, to the point where I'm not afraid to admit it. I was almost in tears.
And Jay said the same thing.
Reason.
A lot, and see, this is, and we typically don't get on too many serious conversations. Other than the fact that I was listening to that 2-part episode, and you and I sounded pretty goddamn smart when we was talking about marijuana.
which is still funny that you mentioned that us smart marijuana.
Yeah.
Those 3 things don't come together very often, because like we mentioned in that episode, we can count on one hand how many times we've smoked.
But that's the thing. I mean, you don't have to smoke to be educated on the medical purposes, and exactly. I did not have all the draw fours, and shut up, Mark. I wasn't too drunk to hold my cards up. I was too drunk to. I was just too drunk to remember when it was my turn. But Jay said the same thing with a lot of us men. We suffer from depression or anxiety or whatever, but there's been a stigma for so many years that we have to be strong. We
Yeah,
can't
you
have
can't say anything.
we can't have moments of weakness because it's not a manly thing if you're like, oh, some days
Well,
I
and
just
and
can't get out
and
of bed
oddly
and
enough,
all I
I
want to.
live in one of the most machismo countries on the planet.
You don't live in you don't
It's
live in America anymore.
no, down here, man. If you're you have to be a man all the fucking
That's
time.
just it.
I tell people I'm a stay-at-home dad down here, and they're like, "So you're a girl?" And I'm like, "What are you fucking talking about?"
We'd say the same thing up here. Hell, I'm
Yeah, I
actually the
know.
same thing. What are you, a bitch?
Well,
you,
I mean,
what do you?
it all
You got
comes
a
down to
mangina between your legs?
uh, it all comes down to one thing on why I'm the stay-at-home dad. What
Mm.
I'm good at, nobody pays for down here.
Well, look, I have one question. Is this John McAfee, and how do you know him? And I thought he was no. What the fuck are you talking about, Jay? I
I don't know John McAfee.
don't know John McAfee either. Yeah, Jason said, he just, I just, and that's how I am, Jason. But I mean, and that's just coming from our family. And like
Right.
I said, Jason is in the Facebook comments. He's my cousin. That's just coming from our family because that's how we was brought up.
Yeah.
You go about your business, you handle your business, and you do what
And
needs to be done.
if a little bit of depression or anxiety or anything, you swallow that shit and you get back to work.
Yeah, and that's one of the
You know.
biggest reasons. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I started drinking so heavily at such a young age. I mean, dude, when we was in high school,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I was drunk as hell at school.
Oh,
You
I was
know,
usually a wreck.
yeah, just because that was, but we found ways to pull through, and I went to therapy for a short time when I came home, and I got pissed off at my therapist, and I basically threatened to choke him the fuck out because all he wanted to do is put me on drugs, and it's like I don't want drugs, dude. Look,
Well,
I'm
in
taking a big step just
from
coming in here and talking to you.
from like third grade until
Exactly, Jason.
eighth grade, I was on Ritalin.
Yeah, I didn't want any of that. I've never with you know my family's history and stuff like that. I did not. I don't like taking medication or anything like that.
I don't either.
So
I won't even take a Tylenol.
yeah, I
If I have
always
a
had it in
headache,
my
I'm like, fuck it, I'll drink shit tons of water.
Mhm. I'll take Tylenol, but that's about the extent. But but now times are changing, and it's being put out there. It's not. It still is
Yeah.
a stigma to a certain degree, but it's being put out there, and it's becoming. Sadly, it's becoming a trend. So the
Yeah.
people who really
I've
go
held back
through
all
it,
these years.
yeah, who are really going through it and are dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, you know, just because now it's coming out more, it's still not any easier because now it's become a trend, and people who have no idea about living going through shit or being put through
Yeah.
shit, and I've got a friend of mine who's like this, who just do it for attention. Oh,
Yeah.
what a depression and anxiety. I just wish somebody would tell me that everything's going to be okay. Well, no, you don't, because
Because you're literally just want everybody to pay attention to you.
you've literally made 10 Facebook posts in the last hour and a half.
Exactly.
So
Well,
it's
that's how you can tell when somebody's asking for attention is they actually post something about it.
yeah.
I think once I posted something, but it had nothing to do. I posted something. It was kind of dark, but it wasn't. And I had like 4 people. Hey, dude, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I need attention. It was like, hey, I literally sent out to certain people, hey man, thanks for being my friend, and they were like, you okay? And I was like, okay, it's time to start getting off the internet.
just if you ever send me a message that says thanks for being my friend, I'm going to be like, first of all, I'm not your friend. Second of all, stop being a pussy.
But I mean, that's the stigma. Is
But
people go? I mean, if you do reach out like that,
yeah,
you know, you like if I sent you a message like, hey man, I just want to thank you for you'd get it.
Oh yeah, I would totally get it.
You would bust my balls about it later, but not in that moment. Where some people are just like, yeah, whatever, and they wouldn't even comment and stuff. But I don't. If my depression kicks in or my anxiety kicks in, I close down and I sit there and stare at the TV or stare at the wall or whatever.
And sadly, a lot of us do that. I mean, Jason said the only time I've ever posted something is and generally that's that. And Summer knows she's been there. If I'm like just drunk as shit, I'll just break down.
Start crying.
And I've done it. I've done it on lives, and and then I'm like, I wake up the next day and I'm like, I'm such a fucking idiot, So then it's like,
which is why I don't post anything, because I know the next morning I'm like, wow, I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, and then on top of already feeling like a giant piece of shit, then that comes up and it's like, fuck, now I feel like even more of an asshole.
Now I gotta explain to 40 fucking people.
Yeah. Which at the end of the day is where this podcast has come in and helped a lot, because again, I'm not staying up and getting super drunk on Saturday nights anymore. So, generally for the most part, when we end our live on Saturday night, I just kind of venture off and I screw around with networking and type shit like that. I don't even really have any more beer after we get off. I'll watch a movie.
You ran out.
And I ran out. My dad shows up and he's like, "Oh, you're out of beer, you fucking pussy! I'll buy you more beer."
Well, by the time we get done, most nights, my wife's come home and I'm like, it's time for bed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm such an introvert in the first place. As I've stated, I don't like to leave my house. Like, I had to go grocery shopping today, and I put it off for 2 hours. I was like, I don't want to fucking go.
You make wine. Well, that's the problem, Jason. You make fucking wine. Wine's fucking disgusting. Fucking stop.
I can't stand the taste.
Grow a pair and sew up your man.
Start making fucking beer.
Make beer. Yeah, make beer, Jason.
Fuck, and call it Nonsensical Nonsense Beer. Follow the podcast and drink the beer.
Okay. I got a beer sponsor.
There you go. And and then whatever you make profit-wise, you sponsor us for giving you the idea. Boom.
Well, not all of it. We'll split the profits.
We'll give you 10%.
Well, Jason, that's what I did Saturday after I ran out of beers. I was drinking wine.
You mentioned you were drinking wine. I was like, what the fuck were you drinking wine for? He's like, I ran out of beer. Okay.
One of my customers gave me 2 bottles. Gave us 2 bottles of wine the other day at work. He makes it.
Right.
He makes wine, he makes beer, and he also makes sausage. And he gave us 2 bottles of wine. I was like,
he tried to give you the sausage too.
Yeah.
He's like, drink this, I'll give you some sausage.
I asked for the sausage. I was like, hey, big boy, you got that sausage or no?
I'll be the big spoon.
But no, I was like, I'll try it. It's my customers. But no, when he first gave me the 2 bottles, I was like, can I get a 12-pack of your beer? He was like, we don't got any right now. I was like, come on.
I'll come back next week, motherfucker. You can get your fumigation next week then.
Here's my number. Call me when you got beer.
I'll fumigate the shit out of this
place. Jason's like, an hour in, I just realized I walked into the wrong room.
Well,
Mark said that when I was talking about I get just fucking hammered and act like an ass. He said you should do that though. Every now and then. Yeah, but it's just. I need to not do it live. I need to just do it like I used to do it, and just hey, nobody's around. I can yell and I can scream and I can and again, that's one of the nice things about not that I want to continue to live alone, because that don't help matters none at all.
No, it don't. But
I
think that's why Tony D was contacted me asking if you okay, because he's like, I know he lives alone. I was like, oh, the kids are there. They'll pick him up off the floor. I was like, the kids are there this weekend. They'll pick him up.
Yeah, he's fine.
They'll roll him over.
The kids aren't here. Just make a what do they call it? Hey, I'll call you and we can shout and be drunk. All right, fair enough, Mark. There you go.
There you go.
What do they call it? A wellness check that the police do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sitting in the living. I'm gonna be sitting in the living room one Sunday. There's gonna be a knock on the door, and I'm gonna go answer. There's gonna be North PD. I'm like, it's not Tuesday or Thursday. What are you guys doing here?
I'm like, well, some people saw you live and called us to make sure you're okay. I'm like, when was I live? Yesterday. Oh yeah, I was drinking my fucking face off.
Yeah. No, I'm just hanging out watching Nightmare on Elm Street for like the 900th time. You want to join me?
Come on in. I'll get you guys a beer.
I was about to make some burgers. You guys
like podcasts? Check this out.
When they come in, lock the door slow. The funny kids, boys.
Come on in. Wait, what?
I have this 55-gallon drum of cum, and I don't know what to do with it.
You said you got that package from Holly today, and I was like, you said I got a package in the mail, and I was like, oh shit, somebody sent Chris a dildo.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. I was like, somebody sent Chris a dildo. Thank God my address isn't out there.
No, I was nervous.
I would literally prop that fucker up.
Considering the last time, wait a minute, he was sleeping in his front yard. Jason said, "Just don't do what this guy I worked with did." His kid came to me at my job years ago and said his dad was sleeping in the front yard. Was he actually asleep or did he die? I hope he was just sleeping. I've passed out in some weird places, so. I passed out at Kevin Holly's place. I passed out at Kevin Holly's place. That was the weirdest place I ever passed out at.
I remember my first year here, I got on a bus to go home, and I was hammered, and I woke up at where the buses stop at the end of their route. There's like 25 buses there, and the driver's getting on to actually head back to the route. He's like, "Have you paid?" I said, "I haven't even gotten off. Get going." Like, you got the window again. He's like, okay.
I don't think. Well, I mean, it might be on my end, but the bud froze a few times ago. The bud.
The what?
Maybe he's talking about the podcast. Might be Facebook freezing up. I've only the vid. It might be Facebook. I've only passed out in the yard a couple of times, and that was just because I knew what I was doing. I just did it just because.
Right.
One was my 21st birthday, and that was after it was after I broke my ankle, and then I woke up in the yard next to my buddy. Not like next to my buddy, but we were in the yard together because we were. Don't worry about autocorrecting or correcting your grammatical errors. Have you heard me talk? But no, we were both in the yard, and I guess he passed out in the yard because I picked him up and power bombed him into the front yard. And then after I did it, I just laid down and was like, I'm going to sleep right here.
It's like that episode of Scrubs. I was watching Scrubs today, and JD goes to make a basket, and the ball knocks off his head, and he wakes up, and he says to Turk, "Why are we laying in the why are we laying down in the parking lot?" He's like, "Well, you got knocked out by the ball, so I just laid down next to you so people think we're just relaxing."
Yeah, no, like he was.
He's like, "You're a true friend."
Yeah, like he was a good. My buddy was like a good 10 feet away from me. It was my 21st birthday was an absolute train wreck. It was something else. But there's been other times where I'm just sleeping. on the back patio. I think I fell asleep on Kevin's back patio one night.
Oh, you were. Your voice was going in and out. It was weird.
Fantastic. Well, the video is froze on my end, but the video is still there. Oh, and I'm back. With the
I was
beer
gonna say video.
down. Yeah, the video on my end froze as I was dumping beer down my throat. So it was a good freeze. But
Which is weird. The only time mine freezes is when we bring somebody in.
yeah. So
yeah.
totally off subject and where we've gone tonight and where we've been. But
Yeah,
you know, every once in a while we got to have a serious conversation. So basically, just to kind of wrap that up, guys, we all go through it. We've all got our issues, our depressions, our anxieties, and this, that, and the other thing. But your true friends are going to be there, and you know, much like Mark said, hey, we'll call and we can drink and shout and scream till the sun comes
Howl
up,
at the moon.
which is a whole hell of a lot sooner than it is for him than it is for me. But your true friends, your true guy friends, yeah, they're gonna bust your balls, but at the same time, you
bust
know,
your
like
balls
Jeff
later.
said,
But in the moment, a true friend will be like, "I got you, bro."
Yeah, you know, if Jeff ever messaged me and he was like, "Hey, thanks for being my friend. I just want you to know," I would know. Oh, okay, Jeff's going through some shit. Let's go ahead and be serious for a minute. You know, 10 minutes after that, I'm gonna be breaking his balls.
Oh yeah,
but,
yeah.
So definitely,
entire
next I know. Yeah, exactly. I know we was all brought up a certain way, but you know, there ain't no shame in it. I'm learning that now. I'm almost 40, and I'm learning that you know, there's no shame in saying, hey, you know what? I'm a little weak at the moment. Give me a moment. You know,
exactly. There's no shame in
give me a
asking for
moment.
help if you need it. Unfortunately, if I get too bad, I get suicidal tendencies, thoughts, anyways.
I've been there.
It's creepy.
There.
It's creepy. But I know one thing.
And Jason, I've done the same thing. I've cut everybody off.
I can't do it because I'm a pussy. I'm like, no, this will hurt.
What if I do it wrong? What if?
Well, exactly. Then I got a scar or something. But I've literally had a knife in my hand, going, this is gonna hurt. I don't want to do
it. Because you don't tell me I'm getting old. You're older than me, cuz. Jason said I was getting old. But yeah, you know, as I've gotten older, I've realized that you know it's not such a bad thing to go. Hey, you know what? I'm in a different place right now, and I need a break. And like Jason said, he's cut off a lot of people. I've cut off damn near everybody. You know.
You and me both. I think you are the only person outside of, you know, the occasional shit I send out via Messenger, which is usually promotion, that I actually talk to.
Well, and that's exactly outside of summer. You know, you're the only person I really talk to on a regular basis, and then of course you got everybody that we talk to in here, but I don't talk to them outside of the podcast. So
right, and that's not saying anything bad about them. It's just we've known each other for 25 years.
Yeah, you're in Cancun. I'm in Ohio, so there's that.
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, the weird thing is, if we were closer, living closer together, we would probably be both drunk halfway through the podcast every time.
There goes the video. Oh yeah, more than likely. I lost my video.
I've literally stated multiple times that if I didn't live in Mexico, I would probably be an alcoholic.
Yeah. You know, well, if
my
you were
wife
close to me,
my wife is. Yeah, definitely. Because you keep busting my balls every time. I'm like, no, I don't want a beer. And you're like, drink it. Okay.
Jeff, come on, drink the beer, Jeff. Drink the fucking beer.
But I mean, that's true about a lot of things. Occasionally, I think about, you know, what would be different if I actually did live in the States. and I don't really think a whole lot, except for I'd probably have a job instead of being a stay-at-home dad, and I'd probably be drinking more. I have a nicer vehicle, but other than that, not much. I'd try not to leave my house if I had to. I mean, but I've been like that since high school, since before high school. Like, name more than one time that after school we actually did something. I went straight home every day.
And I just went to work.
I don't like to leave the house. Yeah, well, you went to work a lot. Well, even if we both had time off, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going home.
And that's the thing. Like, I kept myself busy with work and stuff like that, so I was very rarely was I ever. So, but yeah. No, I don't want to stay on that subject too long. It's kind of a depressing.
We're depressing.
It's just every once in a while, Jeff and I can be serious. We had a serious conversation about the weed last Wednesday night, and then
we can make it a trend to be too serious, though. Good God,
we're not as dumb as we actually look, and it is really crazy right now because I lost my video on Haps, and it says it's connecting, but it's still good on Facebook. And the audio is still
when
good.
I freeze, when we bring somebody on, I'll freeze the entire, like when we brought on Tony D on Saturday or whatever day it was.
Yeah.
Was it Saturday? I don't know.
Saturday.
Okay. I was frozen the entire time. But
you weren't frozen on
I rewatch every episode anyways, because I can't really see what you're doing anyway. So like when you showed your shot glass you got from that restaurant, or not shot glass, your beer glass, I had to rewatch the video to actually see it, because I was like, I gotta see this thing.
And hence the reason why I sent you a picture of the stuff Kevin sent me today, because I knew you wouldn't be able to see it on here. But,
and like
you said,
well, I saw his promotional video, and he was telling people, if you want one, ask for it. And I was like, I want one. I never got it.
He's got a promotional video.
Well, he didn't do a promotional video. He did a post of a picture of.
Okay, yeah.
He sent out that picture on Facebook of a picture of all the merch sitting there, and he's like, if somebody wants one, let us know. And I was like, I was going to say,
what is his promotional? What is his promotional video? Come listen to the Kevin Hawley Show, 8 to 11 on Wednesday. 2 hours of it is breaks.
His breaks, yeah. He's like, we go 4 hours. I'm like, yeah, but 2 hour break.
You said that you had a couple stories, and you have a knack and a tendency. It's kind of like a special skill. If you were a superhero, this would be your superpower. turning a 2-minute story into a 3-hour story.
4-hour
and
podcast.
I figure if you've got a story, you can start.
Well, the story I had was the Asian family.
That's all you had. That's all you had.
Yeah, that's all I had. Well, I did want to ask you, did you find out any more about that bowling ball story? That guy that was renovating his house on 150 bowling balls?
That's not you having a story. So I was hoping you had a story. I was going to go take a piss while you talked, and then I was going to come back. Or you could probably just stare into the camera.
Just stare relentlessly into the camera. Look into my eyes. You will subscribe to Nonsensical Nonsense. Well, I can tell the story that Tony D and I were talking about. Tony D and I were talking about when I went live. Tony D and I were talking about the difference between vehicles in the States and vehicles here. I looked at an 86 S10 single cab, 4-cylinder, 5-speed, that you could see through the bed. It had so much rust in it, and they want $3,000 for it. And he's like, "That's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah." And then I showed him I turned the camera to show my neighbor's truck. He's got, I don't know if you remember the Nissan hard bodies. Andy Nelson had a lifted one, but it's a Nissan hard body pickup, which is basically the size of an S10 for those who don't know. It's a 4-door Nissan hard body pickup, and I want to take one. I want to turn it into a dually because I think it'd be hilarious.
I should have
like
known.
A shrunken down version of Chris's dad's truck.
As soon as I should have known. damn well, as soon as I walk away and give you a moment to talk, you were going to start fucking talking about cars.
Actually, I was gonna. I have an idea of something I want to do. I need to find the right thing. I told you earlier
I have
before
an
we went
idea
live of this guy. He restores old pieces of whatever you find. I watched him do a scale, like a scale that you weigh fruit or whatever in. The best thing in the world to fall asleep to. Holy shit!
Yeah,
Because
I've got an idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got an idea for something.
That's a good idea.
Well,
But
yeah, the guy, and he does. Well, there's several guys like him that they build
there's a
stuff or they
bunch.
restore stuff, and they
Well,
just play this fucking music, man. It's like,
oh
why
my
would you
God.
post a 2-hour video when you know nobody's gonna make it through 5 minutes before they're past the
There's
hell
another
out?
guy I watch. There's another guy I watch on YouTube. You talk about the girls watching YouTube for hours and days on end. I found this other guy. He makes dioramas. But he takes like plastic models, like a model car or whatever, and he modifies them to make them look like they've been sitting in a field for 25, 30 years, all rusted out. It's he's with paint and additives and whatever. And the biggest problem is, I love watching it. I love the detail. I love the amazingness of it. And he 3D prints like little things to add onto it. Like he'll add he'll put the like a lantern hanging off the back of a caboose of a train.
Can't hear the tops.
What's that?
Jason said you can't hear the tops. I'm popping. Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh.
I'm dumb. Jason's apparently he was responding.
You gotta say it out loud to understand
it. Yeah, words are hard. He was responding to, "Hey, we're live on YouTube."
Always.
Sorry.
But he 3D prints all these small pieces and makes them look like they're 30 years old, whatever. And it's amazing to watch. But the music he plays over it, it's just like, you pass out.
Yeah.
So if I'm okay, like every once in a while, I'm wired. Like Saturday nights, I'm wired after we get off the podcast. I could be awake for the next 12 hours. And to fall asleep,
hence the reason
I will turn on.
I give you...
Yeah. I will turn on either the diorama making videos or this guy doing restoration. And 20 minutes in, 1 or 2 videos in, I'm snoring where I have to wake up and turn off the TV.
Yeah. And hence the reason I give you so much shit when we're like, you're like, 2-hour mark. I'm like, dude, you're not doing anything. We can go a little bit longer on Saturday. Wednesday nights I don't push so hard. But, Saturdays, it's like, we can go.
It all comes down to one thing. This is something my wife and I, when we got done on Saturday, my wife and I argued about this. She's like, you guys should just do 2 hours. I said, well, you get into the rhythm, you get having fun, and the time literally flies. You were like, holy shit! Like I looked up earlier and I was like, fuck, we already did an hour. And it all comes down to her and I were arguing about the fact that we go over. I'm like, of course we're gonna go over. We're 2 idiots. We don't stare at the clock going, 5 more seconds. And she's got this thing where she wants to spend time with me. I'm like, I get that, but we live together, and Chris and I, this is technically my job. The podcast is, I'm treating it like a job, as in one day it could make money. I doubt it, but whatever.
Yeah.
And
it is the closest thing you could have to a job.
Yeah, exactly. But on top of that, it's my closest interaction with somebody that speaks fucking English.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't fucking leave the house. I don't really talk to anybody in the neighborhood except for like, sure, you can borrow my wrench, or a screwdriver, And she's like, no, I totally get it. She was, but I wanted to spend time with you. I said, I said, I have no problem spending time with you, but it's podcast day. Podcast day,
Yeah.
I'm busy. I said, there's times when she's getting ready to go to work. I'm like, can't you just stay home? And she's like, no, I have to go to work.
Yeah.
I said, well, I have to do the podcast. And
and that's the thing. Oh man, did the
she
Facebook
basically told me how
freeze
to
up now?
counteract her mind. She said, just tell me this, this, and this the next time, and I won't be so bad about it. I'm like, all right. I said, yeah, we'll see.
Jason was making fun of me for being slow, but then he turned around and commented and said, I feel bad because I just had to find the beer that I opened 3 minutes ago. So I'm gonna leave the Facebook chat for just a minute because I do want to go way off subject, and I wanted to do this earlier in the podcast, but this is why we aren't segmented. This is why we don't have a script. This is why we don't plan anything, because Jeff and I are so much better when we are just essentially allowed to
off
the cuff. We just riff, we just go. So
yeah,
as anybody who knows who's listened to the podcast, friends of the podcast, Blacktop Mojo, they do have a new album coming out very soon. They're currently on tour right now as we speak. So I'm going to leave the Facebook chat for just a moment because I got to remember to do this at the beginning of the podcast too, because Snapchat gets a lot of hits.
Right.
So, but yeah, as I was saying, Blacktop Mojo, they got a new album coming out. They're on tour. They just did a video today with tour dates all the way through fucking November.
Yeah.
They just dropped a new song, and I wanted to play and I haven't heard it yet. I have not had a chance to hear it.
Oh, is it out?
But I wanted to play. Yeah, it's called Wicked Woman. It's off their new album that's coming out, and I just wanted to play just a minute or so of it.
Yeah.
So the last song that they did, it was a little bit slower,
Right.
Let's see what this one's all about. And this has worked out really well in the past, so hopefully it still works out. Sounds like it's fucking rocking.
Yeah, it does. Bring it a little bit closer to the mic.
Wicked. Yeah, it's called Wicked Woman off of Blacktop Mojo's new album.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm kind of digging it, but I like all their music, so.
Yeah, you fangirl out about every fucking song they do.
I do. They're one of my favorite bands, dude. I love these guys. I just want to get to the. So yeah, there we go. And yes, Facebook, we have permission to do it. So don't break my balls and all that other jazz.
No kidding. Calm down.
Yeah, Facebook.
We are technically sponsored by them.
Well, we're not sponsored
or approved.
They just allow us to play their music, but what the hell is going on here? But yeah, as I was saying, that's Blacktop Mojo's new single, Wicked Woman. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube. I think damn near anywhere that music is available, you can find it. So go stream the shit out of it. Help them climb the charts. Yeah. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz, and just stream the hell out of it. Help them just fucking.
Actually, while you do this real quick, I have to go check on something. I will be right back. I gotta go
I don't know where
take
the
a
hell
whiz,
he's going.
but I'll be right back.
But speaking of social media, if you guys are already, go ahead and check out Nonsensical Nonsense on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all that jazz. Also, feel free to go over to Spotify or iTunes or Google Play or wherever you get your podcast at, and hit us subscribe and give us a follow, a like, a thumb in, whatever it is. And if you're at all interested in merchandise, go to Teespring and search Nonsensical Nonsense. There's not much up there. We're still trying to figure it out, but there's some couple things up there.
Yeah, I had to go tell my kids it was time for bed.
I thought you were going
Plus,
to
I
go
wanted to
take
make
a
sure
piss.
they were in the house. Well, that was my excuse. But they were outside playing, and I looked out. And I'm like, "There's no kids out here. Where the fuck are my kids?" So they already came in. They were watching TV. I just wanted to make sure.
I just did the same thing. I just went out there. I actually did go take a piss, but and I walked out there, and it's getting a little dark outside, and I'm like, the girls are in the living room, and I asked, where the hell's your brother? Oh, he's still outside playing with his friends. I was like, oh fucker, he knows better. Get your ass in here.
My kids know that when the street lights come on, it's time to get in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the street lights came on like 45 minutes ago, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, you kids are in the house, right?" Which they were.
And that's
actually.
The thing with my son. Like he knows better. He's just pushing his luck.
Yeah, well, I think my kids tend to push their luck a lot. But they, I don't know if you've seen this guy. I'll send you a clip of him. He does. He's on Facebook real big, but he's on YouTube as well, and he tests out these live hacks, but he always fails at it, and he's hilarious.
What?
Look up. I'm gonna give him a quick plug because he's hilarious. Brandon Ferris. Have you seen this guy? You know how you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and stuff, and you see a video that says life hacks, and it's like they show you how to do certain things, like make a T-shirt into a dress or whatever. Well, he will literally do these, and he fails miserably every time. Of course, on purpose. But he did one. They showed how you could take suspenders and attach them to your pants, and then attach them to two pieces of furniture and jump both legs into your pants at the same time. And he did it, but he didn't have suspenders, so he tied strings to him, and he jumps into them. Of course, he misses, and both bookshelves land on him. He's so funny, dude. My wife and I were watching him last night. My wife was like, "What have the kids been watching?" I'm like, "Oh, this guy's hilarious." And we sat there and watched like 3 or 4 videos. He's a complete jackass. But what makes it funny is he literally, it's him by himself in front of his computer, just like you and I do the podcast. But what's funny is he's got a picture on an easel that he bought off eBay, and it's just a picture of a Mexican girl, dressed all nice, like it's like her graduation photo or something, and he calls her
what the hell is it called?
No, it's not a quinceañera. No, because then she'd be 15.
Ooh, with the accent and everything.
20 years. I've been to a lot of quinceañeras, but it's she's when you look at the girl, she's the picture's actually famous. It's like I can't remember what it's called. It's like a promotional photo, but he got one big blowed up. He keeps it on easel, and he calls her Kelly. And he'll be playing with something. He'll go, "Here, take that, Kelly," and throw it, and it'll hit the picture. It's so funny. He does like his girlfriend. She's got a YouTube channel for she does makeup, and she's like, she got 10,000 followers, so he makes her a cake that's supposed to write out 10,000, but it's literally just a pile of cake when he gets done. But he's hilarious.
Cameron. Cameron in the chat said Cash is a real. He don't care what you say.
Yeah.
And Jason said, "Man, my mom would scream my name when them streetlights came on. I could hear her 3 to 4, maybe more streets away."
Oh yeah.
That's what I just told Austin. I was like, "Go out there and tell your brother to get his fucking ass in here before I go out there and choke him out."
That's how everybody in my neighborhood knows my kids' names.
Yeah.
Because I'll stand outside and go, "Hey, get in here."
Well, I didn't want to because I know my mic picks up everything. Summer said it's been 2 hours. Y'all need to end it. That's actually only been an hour and a half. But she said she was joking. She's probably been listening to the Kevin Holly show. She decided to come over here for a minute because he was on one of his 45-minute breaks.
No, she's busting my balls for Saturday.
I know what she's doing, but I'm also busting her chops because she's probably hanging out watching the Kevin Holly show.
Kevin Holly. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stan's probably in there. Probably. I don't know if Stan's in the studio or he's probably in the chat. So Summer's going to be over there hanging out with Stan. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can have a real man, or you can have
Kevin Holly,
60-year-old man, or you can have a 60-year-old man that looks like a fucking Oompa Loompa reject.
He was giving me shit about the gray in my beard. That motherfucker's got a gray beard.
I know he does. I jumped back at him. I had your back.
No, but I posted a picture or something on Facebook, and he was giving me shit about my beard. And then I looked at his picture, and I was like, "Motherfucker, please!"
Now,
I will say about Rogers on crack.
Now, I will say one thing about your beard. You do need to clean it up a little bit. Get them scragglies. You got some scragglies, and it's the grays that always stick out.
Yeah. Well, and I got that one gray line. And
what the fuck is texting me?
I literally... I just don't shave ever. I just let it grow because I'm lazy. And eventually my wife will get mad and she'll drag me to a barber shop and they'll trim me up. And I'm good for 3 months.
Just shave it yourself. Just clean it up. And maybe your wife wouldn't be so mad at your beard if you would just
she's not mad at it. She's just like, it's time. And I'm like, I don't want to go.
No, actually, it was my boss texting me to tell me that. I said, "Who the hell's texting me? Nobody ever texts me." And Summer said, "Probably your girlfriend." No, it's my boss telling me that I have to go in at 7 for some weird reason tomorrow.
He's like, "Get off the podcast. Get to bed. You got to be early."
Yeah, right. I hope we're starting early. We'll be off early. Good Lord. It's hot out. It must be
always hot out.
Him and I are probably working together tomorrow. That's probably why he messaged me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, make sure you're there so you guys are ready to take off when it's time to take off.
Yeah. 7 a.m. Oh, man.
Please. I'm up at 6:30 every morning.
Oh, that means I got to get up at 6. I don't usually. Well, I'm over here bitching. I'm like, I typically don't get up until 7, but I got to get up an hour earlier.
I'm literally about 5:30 every morning. My wife and I wake up for like 30 seconds or something, go back to sleep, and like we'll both have to go to the bathroom or something. And then we go back to sleep, and 6:30 on the dot, we're awake. Because she's got to be out the door before 7. And this week sucks because she's literally going to be late every night. She's not getting home till 10 tonight. All week. Sucks. And then when she gets home, she passes the fuck out. And Chris is off yelling at his kids. I can hear it. Cash is getting his ass whipped.
My street light was on, boy. No, I went to go take a piss, And Austin was like, "Oh, look at this, Dad." I was like, I'm right in the middle of the podcast. I can't look at. Plus, I don't have my glasses on, and you're showing me something on your phone in the living room, and I'm standing in the hallway.
Like, yeah, I can see.
I can't see. Mm-hmm. I should go out there and snatch it. Oh, she's gonna send it to me on Snapchat.
No, what you do is you make the scariest sound in the world. The sound of a belt clearing belt loops.
Oh, that dude. I don't phase my kids. I have three future. I have four. I have four future serial killers. One of them might not actually participate in the actual murdering process, but she will damn sure be the driver, the alibi, and probably plan it. And that would be the oldest. The other three. Yeah, the other three are probably like, "Oh, how we doing tonight? How we doing it?
Whose car are we taking?"
Yeah, Austin's like, "I'm driving it." And meanwhile, my ass, I'll be like, "I don't know any of these kids." The cops come to my door. I'll be like, "Look, I don't know. I don't care. Don't put shit on me." they are
I run a successful podcast. Well, mildly successful. I run an unsuccessful podcast. I got better things to do.
I do a podcast. Leave me alone.
I'm podcasting. Come back later.
Yeah, right.
A buddy of mine messaged me the other day. He's like, hey, a buddy of mine that I occasionally talk to sent me a message the other day because he saw my my Facebook story, and he's like, I forget what I posted something. Oh, I posted that picture of my wife and I, and he's like, "Why are you wearing a tie? You don't even have a job." I said, "I have a job. I host an unsuccessful podcast." He's like, "Yeah."
Who? Jason replied to your. You replied to your own. But my cousin sent. I think my cousin sent you a friend request. If you're wondering who JT is, it's not Justin Timberlake. It's just my cousin.
Yeah, because I'm that famous. I'm that infamous.
Oh, he's autocorrecting.
My wife and I started watching something.
Oh God.
My wife and I started watching Desperado the other day with Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek.
Yeah, those are great.
We were flicking through, and she's like, we were flicking through Netflix looking for something to watch, and she says, put on Dusk Till Dawn. And I was like, really? You want to see Dusk Till Dawn? I said, I want to see Dusk Till Dawn. Salma Hayek gets naked.
You never seen?
But it wasn't on Netflix. It wasn't on Netflix, and I was like, shit.
Have you? There's what?
The TV show.
Yeah, that TV show is not too bad. There's what? 2-3 movies in the Desperado series?
There's actually 4.
Well, I'm talking
about the original was made by Robert Rodriguez and it's all in Spanish, and it's genius. It's really good. It's kind of the backstory of how his hand gets shot. Yeah.
Okay,
the original is really good. There's 4. Yeah, the original is really good.
There's what Desperado. I know there's Once Upon a Time.
Desperado is technically the second one. Desperado is technically number 2.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're not helping me at all, dude. I'm trying to freaking figure out.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to figure out.
I can't remember what the first one's called.
El Mariachi.
I can't remember the name of the first one. Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
It's all in Spanish.
Desperado.
It goes El Mariachi, then Desperado, then Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and then I can't remember what the fourth one's called.
Okay, I don't know what the fourth one is, but I've seen El Mariachi, and I've seen Desperado, and I've seen Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I don't. Maybe I have seen the
Yeah.
fourth one, and I just don't know. I mean, that's much like the Crow.
I'm sure
The
I
Crow
have.
movie series. There's like 4 of them. There's 4 Crow movies. You got the first one
Yeah.
with Brandon
I only
Lee, and
saw the
then
first one.
there's the Crow, and then there's Crow City of Angels. That was the second one,
Right.
and then there's City of Angels, and then there's another one that has Edward Furlong in it, which was the kid from Terminator 2, and the guy who played
Oh
Angel
shit.
in the Buffy movies. Not Buffy
Oh yeah,
movies.
the guy from
The Buffy TV series.
TV show. Isn't that the guy from
Yeah.
Bones?
Yeah. What? What?
I love that show, Bones. I've seen every
No
episode.
snack for punk ass kids who stay outside after the streetlights come on. What were you doing?
There
You
you
smoking
go.
crack with your friends? Getting drunk?
He's throat
Stealing
punching
cars?
hookers.
You throat punching hookers?
I don't know what hookers are.
I don't even know what hookers are. I don't believe that.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Fuck my life.
He's
Speaking of,
he's putting. Don't come by on a Thursday,
He's already-
kid.
Yeah, it's the same guy from Angel.
Thursday's gonna be
What the fuck is
interesting.
his name?
I can't remember.
David Bory.
Brent. Yeah, I don't know. Starts with B. I know that. Is it a B?
Yeah, it's like David Boreanaz.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Well, yeah,
he,
the
he
same
was
guy
in the
from
fourth-
Bones.
Bones and Angel and Buffy and he's done some other movies, but he was in that fourth Crow movie with
Yeah.
Edward Furlong and stuff. It was actually a pretty good movie. What's her face?
I need to actually sit down and watch them all.
16 minutes. Are you?
It's kind of like
really
the
doing a
Underworld
countdown
series.
right now, baby?
I can't get into it.
The Underworld with Kate Beckinsale.
With Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, I've only
Yeah.
I need to figure out the order, and I've seen most of them, but I've never seen them in order.
No, just because some over here with a countdown. I was like, "Are you counting down?" She's like, "No, just because I'll be asleep before long. I'll be asleep before long too." They're actually, I don't know the order of them. I have no idea what the order of them is. But they're actually,
I don't either. That's the problem.
They're pretty good movies. I know I've seen. There's like 37,000 fucking Underworld movies, and I've
that
probably
and
seen
what's the one
4
with
of them.
Jovanovich with the Umbrella Corporation? What's that?
Resident Evil is awesome.
Resident Evil. There's like 40 of those fucking things, and I've seen most of them. I've never seen them in order because there's 40 of them.
I've seen that series in order probably
But
3 or 4 times.
they're like they're very John Wick-esque, where it's like they're just super entertaining.
Mhm.
Completely unrealistic, but super entertaining. I'm waiting
Well-
on John Wick. I can't wait for the next John Wick. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for chapter 4. It's the same movie.
Yeah.
It's literally the same movie.
I don't care.
But I'm okay with
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the second one, when he takes the Mustang, and he's
Rich.
well, he's
Rich. What do you mean rich?
in the cab, huh?
Jason just said rich. I don't know what he meant by that.
Okay. He's predicting our future.
Jason, how many tops have you popped tonight?
I was gonna say, but
More than me, apparently.
the great thing about John Wick is it's complete. You can literally forget about anything else in the world when you're watching the John Wick movie. You're just like, ah.
It's badassery. It's 100% badassery.
Yes.
Because you
And
know
it-
that, like the first 3 chapters are literally the same movie 3 times, but it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because it's so fun to watch, and just to know the fact that Keanu Reeves legitimately did all the training for all that stuff.
And the
it's like,
motherfucker can
this
shoot
dude-
like you read about. Have you seen him
Yeah.
doing that training video
Oh,
where
yeah.
he was shooting with Halle Berry? I
Oh,
was
yeah.
seriously impressed. I was
Well,
like, damn.
there's several videos of him doing the training with the guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like Keanu Reeves is probably a John Wick in real life, and we just don't know it.
Yeah. Well, you know, you watch those videos and you're like, let's really not piss this dude off because he will go full
Yeah,
John Wick
it's
on
like
your
this-
ass.
This might be an actual reality movie with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Is he really doing this?
This is just a camera following Keanu Reeves around. This isn't John. They just called it something so people think it's a movie. They're like, no, we just followed Keanu Reeves around in day-to-day life.
Yeah, they're like, for legality issues and legal reasons, we have to call it John Wick, but in actuality, in like some weird ass foreign country, it's like
it's a reality show.
Yeah, it's like a day in the life of Keanu Reeves, and it's over in like fucking some weird ass middle of nowhere country, and they're like, this Keanu Reeves guy is.
I mean, it blows my mind that the dude from Bill and Ted is such a badass.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's the thing, but back on it, like,
because his whole claim to fame before he did The Matrix was, whoa.
Well, I mean, I like to think of him from Point Break more than I do of Bill and Ted, but
well, Bill and Ted was his first, though. I love Bill and Ted. I love my kids and I have watched Bill and Ted 1 and 2 maybe 35 times.
Have you seen the new one yet? I haven't watched it yet.
Oh yes, it wasn't terrible.
Well, and that's speaking of movies, like these movies that come around after, and Space Jam, the new Legacy just came out.
Oh God, dude, my kids and I started to watch it yesterday,
and you're gonna crap all over it, aren't you?
No, I fell asleep.
I don't think it was that bad. I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean,
well, I found the ball thing funny. LeBron comes out on the court and his sons are playing ball and he's like, ball. And then the son that actually gets taken is like, is it spaghetti meatball? I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, I did fall asleep.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty good movie. They didn't try to make it a sequel. They tried to make it its own, and they did make a couple references to the original movie.
Okay.
But they didn't try to make it a sequel. So, I mean, for what it was pretty good. And everybody's like, LeBron James is a terrible actor. Well, LeBron James isn't a fucking actor, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a basketball player, and he's a jackass on social media. But
he was I found him kind of a dick to his kids when he comes out on that basketball court, though.
But you know who I didn't like in that movie as an actor that I really like a lot, and I could not stand him? Don Cheadle.
Yeah, he seemed like a real fucking horse's ass.
He was just horrible in that movie. Like his acting
it was like he phoned it in. He phoned it in. He was like, they're paying me how much? All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I made this on Iron Man 1, and you're giving me how much for Space Jam?
Yeah,
calm down, War Machine. And I like Don Cheadle. Like, I really like Don Cheadle.
No, I do. Don Cheadle's a great actor, but it's kind of like when Clooney did Batman. He phoned it in. He's like, yeah, I'll show up. You're paying me how much? Okay. You know.
Man, you really ride the dick of Batman. You always find a way to bring Batman up.
Well, oddly enough, I am a DC fan. But I mean, if you watch all the Batman movies, but if you watch the Clooney Batman, it's really campy.
When you watch this again on YouTube, you'll understand that reference I just made. As I'm standing here in a Superman T-shirt and a Superman hat.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Our love for Superman all comes back to one man.
Well, I was a fan way before I met that guy. That guy just
but that guy is taking it to the next level. Have you seen his business logo?
Oh yeah.
I'm so proud of that man. He cracks me up.
Mhm.
Literally the funniest dude. One of the funniest dudes I've ever met.
Why don't you reach out to him since he's having so much
I
success with
have.
his business?
I
Tell him
have. He never
to
fucking
sponsor the show.
answers.
Tell him to sponsor
I
the show.
have. He never fucking answers me. He's like
You know,
a social media hermit. He pops his head out, posts something, and then goes dark.
I say he posts all the time now, but
Yeah, he posts all the time, but he won't answer me. I've sent him
so-
I've sent him pictures of things, and I'm like, hey, I sent him a link because he owns a detailing company, and I sent him a link to a YouTube channel that is it's all about automotive detailing,
yeah,
like techniques and equipment, and I'm like, dude, it's called Auto Geek, and I watched, because I'm such a car nut, I watch everything there is to know about cars. If it's I'm watching a guy rebuild the Fast and Furious Eclipse right now, but Auto Geek is like seriously informative when it comes to detailing cars. And I say, hey Bob, dude, check this shit out, man. It might help you out.
Mhm. So
1 second, my wife's at the gate. Let me go tell my kids to go open the gate.
hey, you little shits, go open the goddamn gate. Mama's home. Let her in. As I said in previous episodes, the guy lives in a gated community. You'd think they'd get some kind of like passcode or card reader or something. No, the gate's always closed, and every time somebody comes through, they have to physically go and open the gate.
No, I didn't. I sent my kid. Hurry up,
so,
Kevin.
so totally off subject. How do you know your
Yeah.
wife's there? I didn't hear the.
I can hear her
Such a
yelling.
gigantic scar.
I can hear her yelling at the gate. I can hear her yelling my name.
What is she at the gate going? She's at the gate going, Ole! Jefe,
No,
Jefe,
actually,
come open the
since
door.
I'm sitting on the balcony, she can see me sitting on the balcony, and I just hear her calling my name. And
Jason said, "Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed, hurry!" So you don't get in trouble for being on the podcast. Jeff's gonna just run off screen. He's just
no,
gonna
but
run off
like,
screen.
I gotta go.
That's all we're gonna hear in the background. Which is pretty much what you did Saturday.
Yeah. Well,
Deuces.
but
what the fuck? I didn't even get to do an outro.
But no, she's at the gate, and I can hear her hollering my name ever so slightly, and I was like, "What is that?" Oh, she's home. So I ran to the stairs, and I told my son Kevin. I said, "Kevin, go out, open the gate for Mom." Toss my keys down the stairs.
Well, when I was trying to bring this up earlier, but we went off on one of our tangents. When Cash came in and he was like, "What's a hooker?" So,
come by on Thursday.
No, don't come here on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So, oh shit! I thought Cat was on stage. I guess he's not. So yesterday. On Hulu, there's a new American Horror Story, which we've talked about. I love that fucking show. And with COVID and this, that, and the other thing, dude, you've got to watch American Horror Story. It's on Netflix.
I need to get around to it. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I want to watch that new show that you were telling me about. That 17. What is it? That 3-part series.
Oh, Fear Street on Netflix.
Fear Street, yeah. I'm waiting for the third one to come out. Is the third one out?
It's already out. It's already, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna start watching them.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna start watching them.
It's a trilogy, 3 movies. Fear Street by R.L. Stein, and as I said before, yes, we all remember R.L. Stein as like Goosebumps when we were kids. When we were kids, this is not Goosebumps.
Okay, so it's not something I should tell my kids. We should watch this.
Well, the kids can. Yeah, no, the kids can watch. Did you just blow your wife a kiss?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you fucking pussy.
I've been doing it all day.
R.L. Stein's Fear Street on Netflix is awesome. It's a 3-part trilogy movie. It's Fear Street 1994, 1978, and 1666.
Right.
Really
It
good.
goes
It's
backwards.
it's about a cursed town. Basically, they wrap up. They encompass like the old slasher type movies, witchcraft, Satan worshiping. They just throw every horror concept into a fucking three three movie series, and it was so
Right.
good. But no, what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, okay, so yeah, so watch American Horror Story. You haven't watched that? They're like
Yeah, I need to
10
get down to it.
seasons in. They just got a new series out. It's called American Horror Stories, where they or they go into different seasons, and they kind of delve into the backstories of a particular story.
Oh, okay.
But what I was
Like
going to
a
say,
wrap up, says
well, not so much
like
of a
a
wrap up. It just gives you a
or an
bonus
overview.
extra,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
bonus extra content.
Bonus footage.
Yeah, because
Right.
What the fuck was I talking about? American Horror Story. So like
Right.
season one is Murder House,
Okay.
and basically the concept with Murder House, it's a house in California, and it's got this dark history. Everybody who's ever lived there has been murdered, but if you die in the house, you never leave the house, so your ghost is just there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually it's really good. And then every season is something different. Um, so you got like Murder House, you got Asylum, you've got the Coven, which was amazing. Coven is awesome. It's about witches, obviously, and it's got
Right.
Stevie Nicks in it, and then you got Freak Show and Hotel and 1984, which was kind of a play on the slasher type old school movies and Cult and stuff like that. But it's really good.
Okay.
So they just did this American Horror Stories, nothing to do with what I'm trying to get to. So this is what happens.
This is why it takes us so long.
Yeah. So I finished watching episode 2 of American Horror Stories yesterday, and just randomly the next show that popped up was a show called Monsterland on Hulu, and I still don't really
Oh
know
no,
what
that's
it's about.
good.
Yeah. So I watched
with the guy from Teen Wolf.
Sure.
Or not Teen Wolf. Oh, what's it? Where did I know that kid?
I don't know. Every
It's just
episode
like,
is
yeah. Oh
every
no, okay,
episode
then
is
it's
something
different.
different. No, yeah, it's a different show. So
Okay.
Austin comes in and she's like, "Oh, that girl's in his show and she gets raped and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't even know what this first episode's really about." Like I'm playing Uno with Cash. Austin leaves and Cash and I are sitting here playing Uno, and Cash is like, "What's rape?" And I was like,
Go to bed.
I was like, well, that's where you make somebody do something that they don't want to do. And he's like, yeah, you shouldn't rape people. I'm like, yeah, you should not ever
No,
rape
you shouldn't.
anybody. Do not ever. I was just like, what the fuck?
If you're gonna rape somebody, make sure it's their wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like every gas station in the world.
$3.15 a gallon, man.
Oof. It's still cheaper than it is here.
Is it really? What's it down there? American
it's $1 a liter, 4 liters to a gallon. It's $1.10 a liter.
There's 4 liters to a gallon.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, okay. So it's $4.40.
It's like $4.40 a gallon.
I told you to Americanize it. I had to fucking do that.
Well, I had to figure out what the.
Staring into the camera blankly. I'm gonna go take a piss.
It's 22 pesos a liter, which is about $1.10, $1.05, something like that. So, about 4.20, 4.10, something like that, or 4.40, something like that. It's retarded, but it only recently went up. In the past 3 or 4 years, it all came down to Mexico used to Mexico sold. There used to be only one gas station for one company, and it was called Pemex. And somebody sold Pemex to another company, so now there's a whole bunch of companies. So there's where Mexico used to have their own oil fields and all that stuff. Now they don't. They're not owned by Mexico anymore, so they're not. They used to be super cheap, like super cheap. I used to pay, like I think 5 years ago I was paying like $1 a gallon 5 years ago, and now it's $4.40 a gallon. It's retarded.
Fuck all that, man.
Yeah, but it's down here. It's just like, yeah, whatever. It's normal. We've given up on caring.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But I find it hilarious that people, I watch all these videos on TikTok and YouTube and stuff where people are bitching about gas. I'm like, please. They're like, I paid $3 for a gallon. I'm like, please hold my beer. Watch this. I remember I bought a 97 Jetta like 12 years ago, and it would cost me $5 to fill the tank from empty.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. You guys, how much are you spending in gas though down there for you guys?
Like I said, $4.40 a gallon.
No, I mean, yeah, but I mean, if
I fill my tank,
yeah.
If I fill my tank, it'll cost me $35-$40, something like that.
Yeah, well, that's about what I'm paying right now.
Yeah, but my wife and I never fill the tank. We'll throw in.
I don't anymore.
The entire time my wife and I have had vehicles down here, we literally, I use it as an excuse to buy cigarettes. So when we would go somewhere, I'm like, oh, we need gas, So we'd stop at the gas. Okay, and what's really cool here is you don't pump your own gas here. There's not a gas station in town in all of Mexico that you pump your own gas. They have gas attendants that do it.
Oh,
and you tell them how much you want to put in.
It's all full service down there.
Yeah, it's all full service. So like, you want air in your tire, you want your windshield clean. So the nice thing is, okay, you can literally show up and say, I got plenty of battery, but we'll literally say, put $10 of gas in and clean the windshield, and then I'll go into the store and pick up cigarettes and sodas and whatever. But it's not. I think the most I put in at a time is like $20.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact, $20 on and like the Eclipse will last me 2 days, because it's literally, we go to the hotel zone and back. Go to work and back, and the car sits most of the day.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I get fantastic gas mileage in my in my little cruise. So, I can fill, if I fill the car up. Usually, right. I can go a week and a half, because I don't do anything other than go to work and come home. So,
and at work you take the work truck. So
yeah, and then outside of work. What the hell is going on here? Why am I? Oh, he's on break. Don't.
Of course he is.
Fucking jackass. I just asked him if he was alone tonight, because my Facebook just sent me to his podcast, and I was like, "Are you alone tonight?" And then I told Stan to fuck off. But yeah. So usually I can go about a week and a half, 2 weeks, on a full tank of gas in my car.
Right.
So, and if I do go anywhere, I'm right in town, so everything is literally right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Well, the nice thing is, like I've mentioned before, there's like 4 or 5 Walmarts here, and countless other grocery stores like it.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
and depending on which mall you go to, and the farthest we go is when my wife has to go to one of the faraway hotels.
yeah.
And even that's only a 30-minute, 40-minute drive.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I've said before. I'm in the middle. Like I'm right in the middle. I've got
Right.
Walmart, Kroger, Aldi's, Odd Lots, whatever.
Right.
To the left of me, to the left of me, that's less than 5 minutes away. And then I've got Walmart, Kroger, Giant Eagle, Aldi, Target, every goddamn thing under the sun to the right of me that's like 5, maybe 10 minutes away. And not to mention all the fast food and restaurants and everything in between. So it's
like I said, I went grocery shopping today, and with both my cars being out of commission, I walk to the grocery store. It takes me 15, 20 minutes to walk there, and then I cab it back.
Well, and that's why I was asking you, because you were saying that gas is essentially, we dumb it, we can Americanize it for
right
98% of our people who listen. It's
right.
it's $4.40 a gallon there, but
right.
How much is gas really costing you guys? I know you got to get gas
right
for
now, nothing, because both cars don't work.
So is that different?
Well, go ahead. What's different?
Is it different for your dryer and your?
Oh yeah, stove? Because LP gas, it cost me I think at the most $15 to fill the LP gas, which runs my stove and my dryer.
Okay, so that runs basically that tank, off of propane.
Yeah, it's all LP. Yeah, no, it's actually not propane, but natural gas. LP. LP gas, which is like the gas for your stove and stuff. You can you have the small tanks like for your barbecue, and you got ones that literally like hold like a gallon. You can get them from that size all the way up to ones that are almost 4 feet high.
Yeah, which I imagine is what you have for your house.
Well, the one I have is about 3 foot high.
Yeah, that's about as tall as you.
But that one, it, like I said, it holds. It costs 490 pesos, something like that. So like $25.
Oh, that's not fill. Too
bad. And it will last me 3 months.
And don't come in here with the Heidi Ho Yo's bullshit, Stan, and I don't even know what the first comment was saying.
Well, we got to close up because I got to go heat up food for my wife because I made that chicken cordon bleu and she's hungry. And I think the kids made a mess. Wow, I got to buy a new microwave. I need a new one.
I'm literally on my last beer.
Oh, there you go. Well, give us a closeout real quick because I'm getting yelled at. I'm pretty sure.
This guy. I'm going to go call Kevin Hall.
There you go. In about 3 hours when he's off break.
Yeah, something like that. So, Jeff's got to go because.
Yes. Because I'm a giant pussy.
Well, he said it, not me.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for listening. We will see you guys Saturday night. To where I'm going to make Jeff go 4 hours Saturday night.
Yeah. See about that.
Listen, be a fucking man.
Sleeping on your couch.
I don't give a damn. That means you got to come back here. You come sleep on my couch, you're going to get a damn job. You can come work with me. You can pay half my bills.
There you go.
Shit, you come live with me, we can get a bigger place. You wouldn't have to sleep on the couch. You can sleep in Cash's room. You don't ever sleep there.
There you go.
Cash sleeps on the couch. But we're gonna go ahead and end this up before Jeff gets in trouble. He's probably gonna leave as I'm halfway through this. But thank you guys for listening. We will see you guys Saturday night. I lost my train of
Social
thought.
media.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Social media. So, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. If you're not already, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all under Nonsensical Nonsense. We do have a merch store at teespring.com. Just search up Nonsensical Nonsense. Also, while you're on the social media checking people out, go follow at Blacktop Mojo. New album coming out. They're currently on tour. Also, just dropped a new song. If you shoot me with that fucking Nerf gun, get out of my room.
Get his ass whipped.
Go. But yeah, go follow Blacktop Mojo. Also, if you would like to email us,
do it at nonsensicalnonsenspodcast@gmail.com.
So we're going to go ahead and do this before Jeff gets murdered. Thank you guys for listening again. We are out of here. Let's call in together. Let's definitely call in.
Deuces.
Deuces, we are out of here. I got to figure out how to end this. And